that life in the Negro Leagues, it was tough. You see, folks, sometimes we'd ride on a bus for days at a time without a hot meal to eat, without a bed to sleep in. Because in most of the towns we played in, the restaurants did not serve colored people. Missed the hotels. They were for whites only. One day we were playing in Chicago. Happened to meet a gentleman by the name of Clyde Sukeforth, a scout for the Brooklyn Dodgers. He told me that a Mr. Branch Rickey wanted to meet with me in his office in New York. Miss said he wanted to talk to me about joining a Negro League team he was forming. He called them the Brooklyn Brown Dodgers. And he said these Brown Dodgers were going to play in Ebbets Field whenever the Brooklyn Dodgers were out of town. Well, miss, he told me the money would be better than that in the Negro Leagues. Sir, he told me the living accommodations would be better also, and miss, I felt I had nothing to lose. So I went to go see this Mr. Rickey. And it turns out, miss, he was a very big man. Big bushy eyebrows. Big horn-rimmed glasses. Mr. Rickey always wore a nice, crisp suit. Huge big bow tie. And he always had that ever-present big, fat, stogie cigar hanging out of his mouth. And I'll tell you, folks, Mr. Rickey, he was a kind man. Mr. Rickey, sir, he was an honest man. You see, Montgomery College, he told me right from the beginning, folks, there's no Negro League team. Sir, he told me right from the beginning, sir, he wanted me to become part of his great experiment, my friend. He told me he wanted me to become the first Negro to play in Major League Baseball. But my young friend, he didn't stop there. He told me how close to impossible the great experiment would be, son. He told me how the owners of the teams in the league, they didn't think it was time yet for the colored man in Major League Baseball. He told me the players would protest because the players, most of them were from the South. Sir, they'd grown up in legal segregation, and my friend, they did not want to play with the colored man. And folks, the fans, most important part, sir. The fans. Sir, Mr. Rickey told me that the fans might take offense to seeing a colored man on the field with whites. He said they might boo me, call me names, perhaps even threaten me and my family. He talked how some of those players would come sliding in a second with their cleats first, trying to cut me, miss, trying to hurt me. He talked how the pitchers would throw their pitches intentionally at me, trying to hit me, trying to hurt me. And Mr. Rickey didn't stop there, sir. Sir, he told me if I wanted to be that first Negro to play in Major League Baseball, sir, he said I would have to learn to take the abuse. I was not allowed to fight back. Mr. Rickey said in order for his great experiment to work, in order for other players to come up from those Negro Leagues, miss, he said I would have to learn to turn the other cheek to this abuse. And miss, that's when I looked Mr. Rickey right in his eyes, and I said to Mr. Rickey, do you realize you're looking for a colored boy who's afraid to fight back? And he said, no, Jackie. I'm looking for a colored man with guts enough not to fight back. Because you see, Jackie, sometimes it's important to stand alone, son. Sometimes it's important to be strong. Help is always on the way. Now, after hearing that, miss, it didn't take me long to accept Mr. Rickey's offer, miss.